What do you think of Peter Obi?
I don't see him different from the rest of them.
Really?
Yes. So when you guys make all these arguments about Peter Obi being a new person, I don't know where it comes from. That he was Jonathan's advisor, and that there was stealing going on at that period.
He has gotten so much publicity than you. It's like a tribe with them. Like you're either supporting Peter Obi or you're against us. And the way they come for you, man, there's the hateful words they use.
Yeah. So you use this strategy. Let's even assume it works for Peter Obi. Where do we go from there? He'll become a mincemeat in a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
That is why you see most of the people in the state, people like Soludo, just couldn't keep quiet after a while. There's nothing in Anambra, and these are the three questions I've always asked him and his supporters. Can you show me a school built by Peter that you can send your child to?
Exactly.
Even Peter Obi himself did not send his children to those schools.
Yeah. Come February, my fear is that because of the way they've hyped him, he's become like this god that people worship, and it's like Peter Obi or nothing. What do you think of Peter Obi?
I don't see him different from the rest of them.
Really?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Peter Obi was Jonathan's economic advisor during the period of the theft of monies meant for buying weapons. He was economic advisor to Jonathan. He doesn't like to talk about it, but I'm in the media, so I know.
Yeah, but okay, I want to go into this topic in great detail with you, because of obvious reasons, right? So, Peter Obi's chances, I don't know what you think of his chance, and I would like to go into that with you, but are you accusing him of having something to do with the theft of funds under Jonathan's era as an economic advisor?
It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Peter Obi was a member of PDP up to 2000, I think, before he joined the PDP in 2003.
Yeah.
And then became governor under Abga, because Abga was popular in the southeast, particularly his home state, Anambra. And when he was done with Abga, or as governor, he went back to PDP. So when you guys make all these arguments about Peter Obi being a new person, I don't know where it comes from. I can understand the sentiments of people who have a candidate that they will vote for or want to, push down the throat of voters, regardless of his character flaws, or antecedents. There was a group that pushed Buhari that same way and regrets it today. So these things are not new. This political manipulation of minds, it's not new to me in Nigeria. I've even seen worse things. When Buhari and Babangida was in power, there was a whole chorus of people say he should not leave power because they can't find anybody who is qualified to be president. When he left power, they denied him. They said, no, I was not part of his agenda to elongate his tenure. And then came Abacha. There was a 2 million man march, or 5 million man march, or 20 million man march in this Abuja, led by a young man who was youth yearning for Abacha, one Kanu. And the same argument that Abacha, nobody can fill his shoes. And as a result, Nigerians should let him return to power, change his uniform. And there were 5 political parties. All the 5 political parties endorsed him before he died. So these things are not new. Obasanjo came and people were saying he cannot just leave after 2 terms. He should continue with a 3rd term. And before it collapsed. So what haven't we seen in this country? People just come, they manufacture their candidates or the characters of the political figure they want to force down people's throats. And they start arguing, no matter how flawed and super flaws the arguments are, they keep pushing it. It's a narrative. And this narrative is always devoid of common sense because it includes blackmail, it includes suppression and oppression of other people's views. Nothing else could be wrong until they reach their final destination, which is destination of failure. And it happens because people refuse to question the candidates or these figures when they come up in the horizon and say, Peter, like the Peter Obi you are mentioning, I'm sure it has never occurred to you that he was Jonathan's advisor, economic advisor.
No, I knew that. That he was, yes.
And that there was stealing going on at that period, massive. And an economic advisor did not resign. He said he didn't. He was Atiku's vice presidential candidate in 2019, when I also ran for office, was a vice presidential candidate. I was a presidential candidate. And everybody knew how Atiku became presidential candidate at that time, how they were moving money up and down. But you want us to just have what we call selective amnesia. Forget the part that hurts us.
Yeah.
Because this is your candidate. I don't care whether he's a good man or not. We just must force everybody to vote for him.
Yeah.
And when people say to you they don't vote for that kind of candidate, you get upset.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal, and that's what you see online these days, right?
But
People,
some of us who have history,
Yeah.
who understand the political horizon of Nigeria,
Yeah.
we don't get carried away by.
Yeah, but why do you think that's the case? Why do you think that Peter Obi supporters? Why do you think he has gotten so much more publicity than you? And then why do you think that Peter Obi supporters are not open to any kind of opposition or criticism? Why are they willing to? It's like a tribe with them. Like you're either supporting Peter Obi or you're against us.
So I was in the US when Trump came on the horizon. It's the same set of people. But before Trump came, what they used to call Tea Party. Then the Tea Party collapsed, but the remnants were the one who pushed Trump's candidacy. And during that period, nothing mattered to an average Trump supporter. It's like, it's either Trump, it's either my way or the high seas. It's the same thing. These are political experiments carried out, and Peter Obi and his handlers have other, connotations to it. Part of it, rightly or wrongly, is that it is a question of justice, political justice, that power must move to the Southeast. So that is there. There is a connotation of religion. The Christians saying, the Buhari and the APC regime has cheated us, and they have even rubbed it on our faces by selecting a Muslim ticket. So then there's just hysteria. And that's driven by social media influencers who are out there. And the fourth part is that there's a lot of people who are then afraid to be different because of what we call caterwauling and harassment. So there are people who are just quiet because they are so traumatized by what they suffer, even if they try to be different, and afraid to offend those who are his supporters, who would brook no opposition. But if you look at the nature of democracy, that should actually be a sign for people to be worried about the future.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
That you have a political movement, as they like to call it, that says to you, if you are not for us, you are against us.
That's a big...
And you are already putting in place what led to the Second World War.
Yeah, this is what I always tell people, and I'm sorry to cut you short, but this is the reason why I've said some things against Peter Obi online. Yeah, and the way they come for you, man, the hateful words they use. Yeah, even people that I thought were level-headed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think about what Soludo wrote not against really. Soludo was kind of like a rebuttal. Yes, to the kind of online hate he got. Yes. I don't know, but you could see that's what I've been saying. It's a political strategy. Yeah, but it is not a political strategy that will work in the long run. Yeah, it's bound to fail. And the reason is that you're dealing with a diverse people. So you use this strategy. Let's even assume it works, and it gives it wins Aso Rock for Peter Obi. Where do we go from there? So then you now have a Peter Obi regime where people cannot talk. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to work. Exactly. I told them, if you're gonna if you are electing a dictator, let us exactly know. So but even a dictatorship cannot work in Nigeria. Exactly. This is the same Nigeria that defeated Buhari the first time when he was in the military, defeated Babangida, defeated Abacha. Yeah. So he defeated Obasanjo. Yeah. We have had both civilian and military dictatorships. Yeah. And you'll be shocked that if Peter Obi accidentally wins, the level of expectation of his supporters will be so overwhelming that they will turn on him. He will become a mincemeat in a matter of weeks. So, and that is why I believe that he's not in control of his so-called movement, and he doesn't personally also understand
how politics work. I doubt his level of political sagacity, that's the word to use, for him to be riding on this kind of wave, assuming it's true.
I don't think he saw it.
Yeah. No, he knows it. No, look, Peter Obi is very shrewd. I've covered him very well before. Yeah. This is the kind of thing he would do. He will encourage. He likes to play safe. Even as governor of Anambra State, he rose to power, with little or no suspicion for his character. And when he got there, you're gonna go ask the Catholics and the Anglicans. You understand how he was using the division between those two groups, to run the state. Yeah. That is why you see most of the people in the state, people like Soludo, just couldn't keep quiet after a while because the lies were just too much. They see the back end of his era. They know the accounts. They know how bridges were built that were substandard, roads that were substandard. And to wake up every morning and hear that, this guy turned Anambra to...
It's laughable.
It's laughable. I'm sure Soludo got to a point where he just couldn't stomach it anymore. And then you add that to all the insults and the harassment. I think he got caught up in it. He just woke up one moment and said, "What the heck is this?" Let the heavens fall.
Did you read it? Did you read it? I read it, and you could tell that he was.
It was just it was just
like there was no error. There was no grammatical error in that whole. In that, it's a long run.
And to set them up for. He also applied a strategy.
Yes.
To set them up for it's not over. He said this is number one. And after they read the first part, they had to call themselves to order. I heard they are now begging him hey, please, So these are strategies, and so many of these strategies have backfired everywhere. Look at Trump now. He's still popular with his supporters, but the daughter had to announce that, look, I'm not participating in your campaign.
Second round,
You understand? And I'm sure the reason the daughter said it is that, I can't be part of this toxic relationship that you have created out there, because there are reasonable people everywhere. And this is, for me, I love this period because it's going to be a period in history that people will look back and wow, I can't believe I wrote that on Twitter.
Honestly,
yes, I can't believe I insulted my neighbor like
honestly,
this. I can't believe that.
It's shocking. Honestly,
I'm sure you've been threatened in your DM massively.
Honestly,
so but are all these things necessary? Absolutely not. Yeah, because this is not going to lead to good governance.
Of course,
and anybody who saw the Buhari regime, and the way his supporters also behaved, should have learned a very simple lesson from that. You can hardly find anybody who claims to be a Buhari supporter anymore in this country. Of course. And they still got maybe 9 months to go or thereabout. Because people look back and say, there are people who have pulled down their Twitter handles, those who used to call themselves generals, colonel, and under Buhari. They used to love it. And all of them had a DP that had someone wearing in a nose mask, the general that died. All those guys are fizzled out of history. And that would happen to every toxic movement. Every movement that is intolerant, that tells people they're nobody, that denigrates others, other citizens. You will come to your final bus stop one day where you look back and say, wow, this wasn't a destination I was. But when it was happening, it was cool. But it will soon be cold.
Because for me, I'm like, even my friends, people I've known for a while, I'm like, what happened? It's like, I understand the country is hard. I understand the country, and I get where they're coming from, right? Things are so bad that we need change. However, you cannot allow for blind followership. It's not possible. You cannot allow for a system.
It's the reason why people like us exist. We exist not only to bring about, but also to signpost. What periods in history we're at. You understand? When I was in my 20s and I was standing behind Abiola after his election was annulled, it was a signpost in history, because I was the youngest in the crew there. All the other politicians were sitting inside the room. He just happened to follow me at that moment because I rejected the money he gave me. which she said was transportation, 800,000 naira transportation. I said no. And it was when Nigeria's money still had some value. But it would probably be close to $400,000 today. So, and he said, wow, I can't believe you rejected money. And he said, let me follow you, student leader. That's how we got to see Channels TV. The person who interviewed him that day was the proprietor, the person who founded Channels, John Momo. So today, I didn't even know the video existed anymore until one morning around 2017, 2018. Somebody sent me a link and said, wow, did you see yourself behind Abiola? I've been looking for the picture. I thought the only pictures existed, but the photographer who took the picture was working with Vanguard newspaper. It was my friend. He died before I could lay my hand on it. And I'm sure these newspapers don't have archives. So here comes the video. That's a signpost in history that you participated in something right. And it was a time a lot of Nigerians who could have done better were having a field day collecting bribes from Buhari, including traditional rulers, and religious leaders. Nothing new in all these things. So that's why we're able to laugh over the excesses of it and say, look, you guys will get there. We will all get there.
Even the idea of him being the best governor, right? I tell people, go to Anambra today. I was in Anambra I left 2 days ago. I was there for a while. I'm like, go to Anambra today and tell me, is that a reflection of a state that
there's nothing in Anambra? And these are the three questions I've always asked him and his supporters. And his supporters, because he pretends that he doesn't see all this. That's Peter Obi for you. It's like, can you show me a school built by Peter that, especially those in diaspora, that you can send your child to, that you can put your child on a plane today and say to, I want you to go to University of Anambra State University, Oka, to go and study. Don't come back until the semester is over. I'll be sending you money. Nobody can do that in diaspora. Even Peter Obi himself did not send his children to those schools. And I'm aware that the daughter did her master's while he was governor. She did it. He went back to the UK to do it. Of course, they make up a story now that she's teaching at a local school. But I'm sure that is not in Anambra either. So the facts are there. I said, tell me an hospital you built that you yourself can check into when you have headache and say, hey, I built this hospital. So those are indices, I was telling you, are parameters to show good leadership. The U.S. president, no matter how sick he may be, would not be flown out of the U.S.
It's not possible
to go to any hospital. They might fly in a doctor secretly, but they're not flying him to another. Any illness that cannot be treated in the U.S. It's a matter of pride. The president better die. But you have all these, people, and the most dangerous thing is that you just make up all these stories about you mythologize a political character, and then you start spreading what you don't even know about him. If it's a lie, you accept it's a lie. I mean, you don't accept. If it's a truth, you don't accept it's a truth. So I don't even want to label this particular conversation. But I know that we're just weeks away from finding the truth.
My fear is that just, and then on this particular, to conclude on this particular issue, is that if he loses come February, my fear is that because of the way they've hyped him and the level of mythology around him, right, he's become like this god that people worship, and it's like Peter Obi or nothing. People are gonna think that he was
rigged out of it.
And people are gonna, I'm sorry to say this, die because of this.
But this is why it's gonna be easier for those who are following him. Eyes will open earlier than normal, and it is such that Peter will be the first person to get out of the controversy. So that's why we're telling people, like, you cannot have a non-revolutionary lead any revolutionary movements. This is not a movement that can deliver on your expectations. Because I know I need to be fair, there are so many young people who have latched on the support for Peter Obi, who genuinely feel like he's got something to offer.
Very true.
And part of the pushback you see when people criticize him is that they cannot fathom that at the end of all this, they have been riding on a false premise or false hope that this is going to lead to some kind of deliverance. So a lot of them are also in denial that, my God, this guy's better not be false. So now I tend to keep up with that fake messianic expectation that they have thrown out against it. They have to keep pumping up the volume. And that's where it becomes really dangerous. But, there's a Yoruba saying that if a child is falling a tree or is felling a tree, the elder will point to in which direction it will fall. But that doesn't make the child believe that that's where it will fall.
So you just, in one word, describe Peter Obi. One word. What is there any one word that comes to your mind when you think of Peter Obi?
I've said it. I've said it. He's the best package fraud. I've said it. So and he knows that.
So talk to